Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is Blue, and we are back with another video. This is going to be part two of the covenants. If you watched my last video, it talked really in depth about the covenants, specific ways to use the covenant abilities. You know, maybe some are for AoE, one is for just possibly raid, the other is just for burst damage, and so forth. What we are looking at now is choosing a specific covenant is going to open up what I like to call a talent row. And these talents are going to give you specific buffs, just a little bit differences amongst other ferals that have different classes or different covenant choices and different talent rows. So we're going to go ahead and detail and look at those. Now, inside each specific talent is going to give you all three potency, what they call potency, three options of really doing more damage. So you don't have to concern yourself like, oh, which person should I follow that gives me the most potency options. They are all the same. Now, some give you three potency with a defense, which they call endurance option, and some give you three with a finesse or utility option. Really not that important, you guys. But what is important is some of these kind of game changer abilities that these things give. So what we're going to do is first we're going to look at all the potency options, and then we're going to jump into the specific talents that you're going to see by choosing these classes. So let me go here. I'm going to go to this potency option. We're going to see the potency options for just in general is Carnivorous Instincts. Tiger's Fury damage bonus is increased by 3%. So this is going to stack to the already 15% that it gives. So that's kind of a nice option. We have Incessant Hunter. Rip damage has a 10% chance to grant 3 energy. We have Sudden Ambush. Finishing moves have a 3% chance per combo point spent to make your next rake or shred deal damage as though it were stealthed. Then we have Taste of Blood. Ferocious Bite deals 3% increased damage for each of your bleeds on the target. This is huge, guys. We normally have 3 bleeds, so this one choice alone is a 9% buff to our bite. Last one is Unchecked Aggression. You gain 10% haste during your Berserk windows. Now, what I also want to say is each specific covenant has their own little potency option. So for Necrolord, the potency option for here is Enveloped Swarm. Adaptive Swarm increases periodic effects by an additional 6%, whereas prior it was 20%. So you can use that and it'll be 26%. Okay, so let's go ahead now and look into the Necrolord specifically. For my really quick reading, for my understanding, once you choose a specific Covenant class, you're going to be giving 2 options, where this third option, or whatever the option is, the third one will be unlocked via a quest or a quest chain. I don't know how quick it is to unlock, but that's that. So what we're going to take a look at, I'm not going to show you every single option and utility here because the video would just last too long, unfortunately. What I have noticed the trend is usually the first one and the last one. These are kind of the DPS options. So I'm just going to read those for you. So let's jump into it. We have using fleshcraft with nearby corpses derives a benefit from a corpse differing based on the creature's type. So unfortunately we don't really know too much, but using this will give a benefit. While channeling fleshcraft, you are immune to crowd control. Finishing the full channel grants another 4 seconds of crowd control immunity. Okay, I really like this one. This one here is cool. Activating Necrolord class abilities increases your maximum health by 5% for 30 seconds. What you're going to find out here is this talent, all these talent rows right here, these are actually the same for every single class. Now what goes in these specific things right here are class specific. So this is kind of what changes it a little bit. But also, every class has different abilities, class abilities. Our class ability only has a 25-second cooldown. So this one's really fun. It says activating your Necrolord gives you a 5% buff for 30 seconds. This lasts longer than our class ability, so this means we're going to have a 5% increased maximum health buff constantly as long as we're casting this off cooldown. So that's pretty cool for us if this is the route you choose. Or you can go down to, so this one is a finesse option. So this one, it kind of gives us the option we can choose one or the other. Or that we can either choose this one, which says you may channel Fleshcraft while moving. And then the last one, it says after using 60 spells or abilities, your next Fleshcraft will deal shadow damage up to 5 nearby enemies over the duration, and heal up to 5 nearby allies as well. So that's kind of neat. Next one, we don't really have an option here because it's smarter for us to go this damage choice right here versus this defensive choice. So that just leaves us with defeating an enemy reduces Fleshcraft's cooldown by 1 second. And then it says upon death, your armor continues to fight, allowing you to fight for an additional 10 seconds. During this time, your damage and healing done is reduced by 50%, and you cannot receive healing. So it's not going to it's just going to extend your death by 10 seconds. It's not going to keep you alive or keep you a cheat death, sort of, where somebody can heal you up back to health, back to full again. It's just an elongated death with reduced damage and healing. So that is the Necrolord. What you're going to see now as I jump into these other covenants is this one just screams PvP. You know, while other ones you're going to see some damage options here and here, you know, these ones are just kind of looking like more PvP options. So this is kind of solidifying to me Necrolord PvP for Feral Druids at least. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into Venthyr. So let's jump into the Venthyr specific potency option. In this case, it's Endless Thirst. Ravenous Frenzy increases your critical strike chance by 2% per stack. So this one's really good. Now, if you watched my last video, this specific Ravenous Frenzy is really lacking in the single target compared to others. You know, some of the other ones just outperform in single target. This choice right here is really going to help to even that gap. But what's really awesome about this as well is it's going to make our AoE, this ability already is going to make our AoE strong. This is just going to really help it be even stronger. So this is going to help our single target. And then just again, like I stated before, this Ravenous Frenzy is just going to be huge on AoE pulls. And this is just going to help it just make it absolutely ridiculous for AoE. So let's jump into the specific kind of DPS choices we're probably going to see here. Door of Shadows disorients all nearby enemies at the target location for 6 seconds when you appear. And then, while in combat, you gain a stack of Thrill Seeker every 2 seconds, or 4 seconds on killing an enemy. At 4-day stacks, Thrill Seeker is consumed to grant you Euphoria, increasing your haste by 20% for 10 seconds. Thrill Seeker decays rapidly while you are not in combat. So this one's really great. As Feral, we usually don't want to, we don't really want haste in our build, we don't want to run haste as stats, but in AoE situations, haste is pretty decent. And this is really nice because this is going to just really help our AoE. Like we said, this is kind of an AoE talent for us, or an AoE ability for us mostly, or the best use of this is an AoE. And then this added haste is just really going to just put the cherry on top for that. So that's really nice. Okay. On this one, we don't really have an option. We just want to grab that damage right here. So it says Door of Shadows frees you from roots and snares. And then activating your Venthyr class ability signals the start of tea time, granting 10% versatility to you and 4% versatility to up to 4 nearby allies last 10 seconds. I really like this. You're going to see a few of these that are going to help your party. I really like these ones that do that, so that's really nice. Awesome. Take a look at this last one. So we have 2 different choices here. First one is your equipment takes 50% less durability, so it'll kind of help you out on some costs there. Or leaving a rested area increases your mounted speed by 10%. And your out-of-combat regeneration by 100% last 10 minutes, and completing a world quest refreshes this duration. And then it says, damage taken below 40% health is reduced by 10%. Upon death, you leave a stone husk behind, which shatters after 3 seconds, inflicting 100% of your maximum health and damage, split amongst nearby enemies, and healing for 100% of your maximum health, split among nearby allies. This one to me kind of screams tank, but but I'll let you decide what you guys want on that one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Kyrian. Let's look specifically at the Kyrian Potency ability. It says Kindred Spirits Empowerment cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. So if you don't remember, this is kind of a something that happens every 10 seconds or every minute. You get a 10-second buff window. So using this Deep Allegiance, where it reduces the cooldown by 10%, since it's a 60-second window, it's only reducing it by 6 seconds. So now, instead of every minute, you get the 10% buff every 54 seconds. Somebody's going to have to do the numbers on that one, but it just kind of seems a little lackluster compared to some of our other ones. Alright, using a spell or ability increases your versatility by 1% for 10 seconds. Using another spell or ability increases this amount by 1% when it is not a repeat of the previous spell or ability, stacking to 5%. So this is really nice. This is a constant versatility buff. And although it might not be huge, and sometimes we're not going to be able to really get that 5%, you should not change your rotation for this. But this is nice. This is a constant versatility buff for us while in combat. Activating your Kyrian class ability increases your mastery by 5% for 20 seconds and occasionally expels sorrowful memories. Walking through these sorrowful memories extends the effect by 3 seconds. So this is kind of nice, just using that during that 10-second window when this activates. You're going to have 5% increased mastery, which is really going to help on those bites, which is our big source of damage. So this is kind of nice. Next, this is our option here. While above 90% health, you increase nearby party members' maximum health by 5%. This one's pretty cool. I like that one. And then the last one, you and nearby allies' critical strikes grant you stacks of Valiant Strikes, up to 40. At 40 stacks, you heal yourself for 10% of your maximum health and up to 4 nearby allies for 5% of their maximum health over 10 seconds. Now, I know this one just screams utility or healer, but this would be pretty dope on Feral if you're not really worried about not getting those DPS, pieces of it, because we're eventually going to be building crit. We're going to be with a whole bunch of melee, which is also going to be stacking crit, and this would probably be pumping out a lot of heals, especially since it doesn't say that it has a cooldown. It just says 40 stacks. Once you get to that next, once that 40 stacks is completed, you're healing everybody around you, and then it just refreshes. This sounds insane, but yeah, I'm probably not going to go that, but it sounds pretty cool. Alright, let's take a last one. When reduced below 35% health, your Vial of Serenity automatically heals you and consumes a charge. And the last one, after using 120 spells and abilities, your next spell or ability summons Brawn, who attacks and heals your target for 30 seconds. So this is really cool. Obviously, we don't know how strong Brawn is, but 120 spells is quite a lot. So let's take a look at our very last one. Now, before we get into it, you guys, there's a lot of brokenness on this Night Fae. So let's jump into first the specific covenant, Potency. Conflicts of elements. While channeling Convoke of the Spirits, your damage and healing are increased by 12%. Whew, that one is very strong compared to the other ones. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. While in Soul Shape, you regenerate 5% of your maximum health every 3 seconds. And then healing or dealing damage has a chance to grant you a stack of redirected anima, up to 10. Activating your Night Fae class ability grants you 1% maximum health and 2% increased mastery per stack for 30 seconds. So we have a 2-minute cooldown. So as long, obviously it depends on how easy these are to proc and the you know, percent it has to proc per spell, but we can do quite a bit of spells within 2-minute window. Now, if we can fully get this buff to 10 stacks, that means when we cast our Convoke of the Spirits, we're going to have an added 20% mastery. Now, as we spoke before, if we can get this to only shred and bite, mastery is really important for bites. And then if you think that those bites are going to be increased also by 12%, or the full cast of conflux of the elements will be increased by 12%. This is huge. This is just nuts, you guys. So let's go on to the next one. Last ability puts flowers at your feet for 15 seconds, then increase your haste by 5% while you stand in them. So ours specifically is a channeled ability, so we're going to be standing in them, so it's going to give you that 5% haste every time. This one's pretty cool. It's when you would take damage that would kill you. Instead, rejuvenate within a wild seed, regaining 30% of HP over 10 seconds. Now, if the wild seed takes more than a certain damage during this time, you die. So essentially, you die. It's going to heal you 30% within 10 seconds. If it finishes and it doesn't die, by the time you get to 30, then you're back to life. Now, this effect occurs once every 30 minutes, though. Now, let's take a look at this last one. So our last one, this is our only option here. Soul Shape increases your movement speed of allies within 40 yards by 10%. So that's kind of nice. Increase the movement speed by others. Your damage to targets above 75% health and healing to targets below 35% health is increased by 10%. When your spells and abilities are enhanced this way, you gain 10% increased movement speed for 5 seconds. This is yet a really big one for raiding. 10% increased damage while the target's above 75% health is pretty good. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know if this has changed any of your thoughts, especially this lady right here. Any previous thoughts that you might have been wanting to run something else. I personally have been wanting to run Kyrian, but so far that's changed. But let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much for everybody supporting the video. Leave a comment if you want. But thanks so much, you guys. Take it easy. Peace.